Okay, Unit 6, 6-1 polynomials. We're going to identify, evaluate, add and subtract polynomials, and then classify and graph polynomials. This will be 2 days. After the second day, please submit your notes in the assignment. A monomial is a number or a product of numbers or variables with whole number exponents. And that's very important to realize that they need to be whole number exponents. A polynomial is a monomial or a sum or difference of monomials. So it can be multiple terms, or you could still call a polynomial a monomial. Each monomial in a polynomial is a term. Because a monomial only has one term, it is the simplest type of polynomial. Polynomials have no variables in the denominators or exponents, no roots, square root, cube root, fourth root, or absolute value of variables. And all variables have whole number exponents, as I stressed before. There are some examples of polynomials and some examples that would not be polynomials. The degree of a polynomial is the sum of the exponents of the variables. So let's look at the first example. Identify the degree of each monomial. Well, this monomial only has one exponent, so the degree or the exponent is 4, so the degree is 4. The exponent of an integer is 0, so the degree is 0. Oops, sorry, 0. When we don't have an exponent, it's a 1, so the exponents here are 2 and 1, so we add those together, so the degree is 3. And again, when we don't have an exponent, we put a 1. So the exponents here are 3 and 4 and 1. We add those together to get the degree, which would be 8. So you have some to try. Go ahead and pause the video and try those. And then I'm going to be writing the answers. How do you find the degree of a term with no exponent? It's understood to be 1 as long as it's a variable, and 0 if it's a number. How do you find the degree when there's more than one variable? You add the exponents. And I should probably go back up here. I'm going to go back up here real quick and just clarify something. This 0 is really saying that we have 7x to the 0 because it's the exponent of the variable, and that's why that's 0. The degree of a polynomial is given by the term with the greatest degree. So a polynomial with one variable is in standard form when its terms are written in descending order by degree. So in standard form, the degree of the first term indicates the degree of the polynomial. So looking at this standard form, The degree would be 3. It's the highest exponent. We call the coefficient in front of that a leading coefficient. We can classify polynomials by its number of terms. 2 terms is a binomial, 3 terms is a trinomial. A polynomial can also be classified by degrees, and there's a nice table there. You do have to memorize those. If I have a 0 degree, it's just a constant, it's just a number. Degree of 1 is linear, degree of 2 is quadratic, degree of 3 is called cubic, a degree of 4 is called quartic, and a degree of 5 is called quintic. So think of a quartet is 4 singers, and quintuplets would be 5 kids. Okay, so moving on, we're going to classify our polynomials. We're first going to write our polynomial in standard form, identify the leading coefficient, the degree, and number of terms, and then we're going to name it based on that information. So the first thing we need to do is write it in descending order. The leading coefficient would be 4. It's the coefficient of the first term. The degree is the degree of the first term, which is 3. Number of terms, how many monomials are you adding or subtracting, is 3. So we would name this a cubic, based on the degree, trinomial, number of terms. So descending exponential order, I'm just going to call leading coefficient LC. There's nothing in front of there, so that's a 1. Degree is 5. Terms, we're adding or subtracting 4 items. And then the name would be a quintic, degrees 5. And we don't go anything over trinomial, so it would just be a quintic polynomial with 4 terms. So you go ahead and try these. Don't forget to make sure the sign stays with the monomial. So pause the video. And it's okay to abbreviate. I'm going to allow that. How can you recognize the leading coefficient? It's the coefficient of the first term in standard form. Okay, we're going to add or subtract polynomials, and we add or subtract polynomials by combining like terms. We can add and subtract either horizontally or vertically, so it's whatever you feel most comfortable with. I'm going to first write these in standard form. And I'm going to line them up vertically. We're adding. And then subtracting. So when you write in standard form, got to make sure that you put it in the correct order with the sign following. And the second polynomial is already in standard form, so I'm going to distribute the negative. And then you can just combine like terms. There's no x's other than the minus 2x, and 5 plus 1 is 6. So once again, pause the video and write in standard form. Then you can either line them up vertically the way I did with the addition, or you can keep them horizontally like I did with the subtraction, and then just combine like terms. Make sure if you have any questions that you ask while you're doing these problems in class. Why should you write the polynomials in standard form before you add or subtract? So you can write your answer in standard form. And easily combine like terms. That was the end of day 1. So you want to complete the assignment, which would be page 410, problems 2 through 13.